A very good evening to you, our esteemed viewers. We are delighted that every single Friday your eyes are nowhere else other than HealthPod. We are delighted. You're the reason we come back every single Friday. Each time you see us, just know it is because you're right there watching, and that is the peace of mind we have. Thank you so much for watching HealthPod Family TV. This program is brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health together with Family TV, basically looking at early childhood development and maternal health. These are two important basics in child development. That is why this program is right there in your living room, on your phone. And Adrian Austin Mukalazi is my name. Today we are with Nabirye Zabina. She's a public health expert. And when we talk about public health entails very many aspects. But before we introduce this topic, I request her to greet you. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Good evening, viewers and my host at large. Just as he said, I'm called Nabirye Zabina, public health expert with a passion in maternal child health.
Wow. You
are all welcome to watch our program.
Indeed. So as it is that every first week of August, it is the World Breastfeeding Week. And as HealthPod, which is we are interested in early childhood development and maternal health, we don't take it for granted. It is important that we also be part. And we would have said that together chisussaye and do it for a full month. So we are going to dedicate this entire month for breastfeeding and enlightening breastfeeding as HealthPod and as Makerere University School of Public Health. But today we want to go step by step, process by process. So I'll start with a question.
Yes, please.
How can we make breastfeeding successful? Because we realize statistically that very many mothers are dropping breastfeeding. Yeah. We don't know why, but the statistics of the graph is falling of breastfeeding mothers.
True that.
Yeah.
Yep. So thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to people about breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is quite important, and this is why Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate this week. And because breastfeeding rates are dropping, we as Ugandans and public health people and health workers as well, we can't look on and breastfeeding rates are just dropping that way. So something has to be done, and it is already done. We are doing it. So breastfeeding, we have to support the mother, the family, and even the baby to really make sure that the baby accesses breast milk. In fact, breast milk is gold to an infant. So since it is gold, everyone has to do something to make sure this baby accesses it.
Including
and
the father?
The father, the family, the granddie. Why we are here to teach, to talk to people, is that to pick the right messages and how to support these children to get the breast milk the way it is supposed to be done at the right time. Remember, this is the promotion of breastfeeding. Remember, we have those myths and so on. The myths sometimes interfere, not sometimes, a lot of them interfere with breastfeeding. So why we teach here is to give information to people, to whatever they are doing, to see how they hamper and how best can we really do it. Basically, they do them hoping it is the best, but we are here with the information to support people to do it rightly.
Because we days back used to think that myths are only followed by people in the rural areas. But these days, they board from the rural areas now to the city centers.
Exactly. Because whoever is in the city center came from the rural areas. And at one time, you'll watch around Christmas time, everyone runs to the village. What do they go to do? To interact with their family members. And while there, they learn a lot. So basically, the myths there and here, they really affect. And that's why we are here to talk about breastfeeding. And how can we make breastfeeding successful? Basically, when you want something, do not start anywhere else in the middle or where. We want to look at this woman who is going to bear the child. If we want breastfeeding to be successful, let us consider what must the pregnant woman, or when you're a girl before you conceive, what must happen? Ideally, whoever has an adolescent girl, whoever has those, anyway, we have to care for them right from adolescent age by ensuring their good nutrition. okay, by ensuring that we offer all the necessary services that can make this girl healthy, so that by the time she conceives, the fetus or the coming baby finds a very fertile body, which is nutritionally well, and in that regard, the good nutrition impacts so much.
What do you call good nutrition? Yeah? What do you call good nutrition?
Good nutrition simply means when the child, someone feeds so well on a balanced diet, and a balanced diet simply is eating a variety. Those foods we eat, we have foods that give the energy. People need the energy to do work. Even this the speaking we are doing, it requires energy, yes. Right? And there are foods that build the body, the bodybuilding foods. Sometimes we call them the growth foods. Those are proteins. And of course, when we talk about proteins, people out there may think maybe eating meat alone. There are animal proteins and there are plant proteins. And if you want the proteins really to build your body, we combine the plant and the animal, and then we get the proteins. And having eaten the energy-giving foods and the proteins to build our body, and for children it facilitates growth and development, we also add on protective foods. When we eat so well, we should not fall sick anyhow.
We have a problem. Okay? We have a problem in Uganda.
Yeah.
What we call good feeding. Okay, I'll use the layman's language, our local language. What people call okulya obulungi.
Exactly.
Is eating junks, eating pizza. So whoever eats that, balya bulungi, they eat well. Is that really right?
Those who are able to eat from KFC,
exactly,
from
those
Jumia and
those
so
places.
on. Surely, eating so well is ensuring that we eating a variety of foods. In fact, your plate should have different colors.
Can you try highlight some of these foods that people can expect? Because when you talk about foods, like they will still think when I eat my chips, it is still food.
And usually you categorize those as junk foods. When we are talking about a balanced diet, when someone is preparing food, I mentioned earlier about energy-giving foods. Yeah. And in energy-giving foods, we have, basically we call them carbohydrates. We have those that are fresh from the garden. The potatoes, matoke, bananas, Irish, yams, those that are freshly got from the garden and prepared for consumption. And then there are those that are processed. The maize flour, of course, when people are buying, I want super and so on. Yeah. And the millet flour, then what else? The rice, those that we purchase from the shops, you measure for me and so on. When we talk about eating well, you must eat part of the fresh foods on your plate and part of these other foods. Other than, of course, COVID has caused the trouble. Most people have shopped a lot of portion, rice and what, and they're feeding on that, okay? But we would like to encourage them that it would be better you get the fresh foods and these other ones, the processed foods, and put on bit on your plate. But of course, fresh foods are more healthy, more advantageous over the other ones that we keep in our houses. So someone outside there must learn that when I'm cooking, it does not require me to eat chips alone. Yeah, chips should also be eaten, but once in a while. Do not make it your
shouldn't be a daily
meal, because the way it is prepared. When we have the nutrition sessions, of course, we go into details as in like. Okay, so when we talk about energy-giving foods, those are the foods that we should consider. Yeah, you put a bit of it here and the other one here, maybe some matoke, some rice on your plate. Okay, then when we talk about the proteins, okay, we talk about the animal protein and the plant protein. Most communities, of course, it can be plant protein most of the time. And the other ones also, you will find them with only animal protein on their meal every day. It is not healthy that way. We need to balance. Both types of proteins are quite healthy for you and me. So people should learn out there when you are preparing. If you have gotten some meat, let there be some beans. Okay, if a fish, some nuts here, like that, so that we get the plant protein, we get the animal protein, and then we call that one a healthy meal. And basically, we shall have our vegetables, right? We need the vegetables as well. Because most of the nutrients, what you are getting from the other two types of foods, some of the nutrients to transport the other ones are from the vegetables. So at the end of the day, we want to eat them together. The protective foods, which are the vegetables and fruits as well. Okay, you can put a piece of avocado here, a piece of mango here. The vegetables, it can be nakati, it can be spinach, those green leafy vegetables. And there are those other ones that are not green, but they have the other colors like the
buga.
cabbages, the red amaranth, the buga, and those other, but it falling under that category of vegetables. Okay, when we are teaching communities, we simply say you 5 fingers, at least each should carry something special. Okay, the carbohydrates that are satisfying foods are the strong finger here, animal protein on the index finger, and then the middle finger is carrying plant protein. Okay, and this one is carrying the what? The vegetables, and the little finger carries a fruit. So if you, on your plate, each of these fingers is represented, that is what I would call a variety of foods, and it is a balanced diet. So the other side, we go into the nitty-gritties of preparing. Once when you want to get nutrients from your vegetables, consider the way you cook them, because you may claim I eat vegetables, but the way you are cooking them, overheating.
And then it still takes us to another problem.
Yes.
When you talk about preparing, someone thinks when you overspice, then you're the best chef.
We have also to control the spicing, because in most of our families, most of the families have children.
Yes.
Yeah, and many times we don't want to subject these children on those spices and so on. So be mindful about your spices. They are good. Of course, the taste of the food improves, but we need to control the spicing of those foods. Okay.
So in all this, what I'm trying to get from what you've said is that nutrition should not be seasonal. It is a lifelong thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
From childhood up to maybe when
building a foundation. Yeah. Okay, let's consider the girl child. We want this girl child later, when she becomes a woman, to produce children that are healthy. But we want to consider her nutrition when she conceives. It may not. It helps, however, it would be very useful if we started early. Of course, preparing her body for childbirth, preparing her body to carry on another baby in her. Okay, so we have to consider their nutrition right from down here. Why we went away a little to describe this nutrition? We want someone out there to understand that when we talk about we want to be successful with breastfeeding, be considering this girl from childhood, how we care about her nutrition. It has a great impact on the outcomes of because if they are suffering from malnutrition, when they're not fed well and they suffer from malnutrition in their childhood, it impacts a lot on the outcome.
So in other words, when a child, or when this girl, we're basically looking at a girl child, when this girl is poorly fed throughout her early childhood and then adolescence, does that have any impact on her breastfeeding production when she finally gives birth?
Yeah, it has, if more so if she is not adequately supported during pregnancy and support her around lactation time during the breastfeeding period. I think
let us shortly go for a commercial break, and then when we come back, we shall start from now that process that you've just talked about, the lactation process, and then that entire process.
Oh, exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Brethren, yes we can. We can clear the debt of church house. And I want to invite you to give generously to the love gift. May God bless you as you give.
As you think about the Lord just taking over your case and you are no longer in the midst of it, and he says, fear not.
Demons from the mountains, scream and leave. Demons from the graves, scream and leave in the name of Jesus.
No more
Welcome back from the commercial break. This is Health Pot, brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Family TV, basically looking at early childhood development and maternal health. And as it is the World Breastfeeding Week every first week of July, Breastfeeding Week, Makerere University School of Public Health dedicated this entire month of August to sensitize you, to bring to knowledge about a lot of information surrounding breastfeeding, and to wash out the myths that might be surrounding your brains about breastfeeding. That is why we are here. We are with Nabirye, Zabina, taking us through the process. Like we said, we want to go process by process. We don't want to rush into things.
Yes.
So we started from where we have to start. That is nutrition, from childhood. And now our child, the girl child we've been following from childhood, is now a big lady. She has conceived.
Okay.
Then what happens? Now let us go through. Okay, she has conceived and she has successfully completed the 9 months of pregnancy. And now what are the events that surround the birth time and the lactation process?
Period. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And we are looking at this lady at 9 months, and we have earlier informed you that during pregnancy and the rest of the other stages, she must have been fed well, and she must have attended antenatal. Now time comes, she's 9 months, and she has come to labor ward, of course, to the hospital.
Yes.
And when in the hospital, automatically they go to labor ward. So while in labor, we need to offer support to make sure what happens during labor, the practices that we are promoting to make sure even when she delivers, she breastfeeds successfully. So while in labor, of course, we expect the health worker around there to handle her with the care. Okay, we expect the health worker to identify who is the caretaker, because that pain makes them think like they lost, they're somewhere else because of the pain. But when the caretaker is there of her choice, they keep communicating with them. That is mother-friendly care, allowing the attendant in. When the attendant in, what is the role of the attendant? To offer nutrition. All other services, bring this, please bring this and that. But above all, also offering tea, eating during labor, because I have to remind the population, today nutrition has been integrated into maternal child health. There are so many procedures that have a little changed or improved, unlike before. We have questions like, should a mother eat food as she's going for labor? Or they don't have to eat anything. They have to stay on an empty stomach. During the coming stage, when, of course, we easily call it second stage, when she's free and she's going to push the baby out, that period requires a lot of energy. And we don't know, this labor could have started at 2 a.m. When she last had her supper at 8, and labor is starting at 2 a.m. and she's likely...
And maybe she had no appetite, and she didn't even eat.
And she's likely maybe to deliver around 11 or midday, yeah? All that period, what was she eating? So we want this attendant, in fact it is the health worker, to inform the attendant to bring in early labor. They must eat some soft food and they must drink. Earlier they were giving them a lot
water
of tea with the concentrated tea leaves and too much sugar. Please, much as they must take the tea, they should also eat light foods.
They say it boosts the labor pains.
It stimulates.
They give birth.
The intention is for them to get energy, which is not bad, but we are saying they must also eat light foods, because even if she fails to push the baby out, the mode of operation currently is far different from what they were doing, unless if the doctor alerts you or the condition warrants to do the other way. Otherwise, these days, when they are operating them, they do spinal. Of course, there's the area that has to be whatever. They would make the other time they would give what they call general anesthesia. Those medical words, they make the woman really sleep and totally. But today they are giving spinal, whereby it is from the waist downwards. That up this way she will be alert. Okay. Why? We want, in case she has not delivered normally, immediately we put the baby on skin to skin and we start breastfeeding. Unlike before, when totally you are asleep and then of
You
course,
take 2 days.
Yes, and most of these days it is lower C. They no longer open them vertically, they do it lower, a small thing down there. Why? We want her health. So that if she had eaten during labor and she has failed to push, the worries of vomiting during the time of operation have been reduced a little. Why? Because we no longer do general anesthesia, right? So that is nutrition coming in. That we need this woman to be cared for nicely during labor. She should eat during labor, walking around, and then talking to her nicely during, reassuring
Not
her.
backing
Stress
at her.
alone makes her to fear a lot, that even after delivery, of course, the brain is automatic. No one will say our brain, but it is automatic. Anything that stresses a woman at any stage, breast milk disappears. This is why we bring in the partners now, that please support the health workers also to offer care. You should offer care at home, and while in the hands of the health workers, they should also play their
Starting
role.
from the husband.
Starting from the husband and the family around this woman.
Maybe there are two only in the house, so it
Okay.
is the husband on the immediate.
The immediate caretaker
Yes.
is the husband, and he should. That one has a very, very important role, because however much we shall do our best, when the husband has stressed her, automatically it interferes. The breastfeeding woman doesn't need any stress. If it is there, health workers have to come in early and reassure her, counsel her, so that maybe she gets a way of handling. But we must succeed with breastfeeding. Okay.
If a woman has not eaten, like we've said, and they've given birth, will that milk be manufactured? Is it natural that the
Yeah.
milk will be there?
It will be there at that time, but what we are feeding her or as well is to show her that we care. Secondly, to boost her energy for that stage. So third, power. We need power to push the baby out. You see them sweating. You see some failing to push, and they end up putting on IV lines.
Yeah.
You know why IV line? Encourage her to eat light foods. Reassure her. Let her take the tea. The energy will be automatic. Other than the pain here, she can't turn. The hand is there. That is what we are trying to say. Please let us do our best to make sure she delivers in peace. Okay, now she comes to our second stage. That is
Yes.
the baby is about to come out. When that stage comes, we really call upon health workers. Let us do our level best, because we committed ourselves. We saw to do that. We reassure her. We tell her what she should be expecting. More pain will be there, and she has to use energy so that we get an alive baby. Because if she pushes once and twice, the baby is out. The faster the baby comes out, the better. Right? Okay. But if the baby takes long to come out, when it is due to come out, it impacts a lot on their brain. Yeah? Of course, there are ways we score while there and so on. So when the baby pops out, during antenatal, this midwife must have informed the health worker must have told the mother, in this phase, when you deliver, and this is what we are passing on. Any mother who is expecting or who is proposing to do so, when it comes to second stage, you should be aware that currently any baby that comes out, as long as the baby pops out and we are lucky the baby is alive, we put the baby on where? On the mother's abdomen.
Is it
Vertically.
the kangaroo? Or this is different
similar
from
to kangaroo, but now here we are putting with another perspective, but it's similar. Okay, when the baby is put here, we quickly get a dry cotton cloth. We must have educated her. She should come to labor with expecting this. Even you out there who is pregnant, you should expect this. If it is not done for you, learn to do it yourself, because the baby is yours, is ours, but more so is yours, right? So when the baby pops out, baby is picked and placed longitudinally to the mother's abdomen and chest. And this head is always in between the breasts. Then you get a dry cloth, dry this baby quickly. The mother and the baby are in contact.
What is the instance of getting this baby put and then the head is just between the breasts?
Exactly. One of the major reasons is to support this baby, to start breastfeeding. Where possible, this baby should start breastfeeding before you cut the cord. Yeah. And this breastfeeding, people out there, we don't mean that the baby has to breastfeed you to satisfaction. No. But we want to initiate, to start. We want to start breastfeeding immediately, because if the baby's tongue is pulled out and it just touches the nipple, there are sensory impulses in our bodies. Automatically, they move very fast to the brain, and the brain releases 2 hormones. We have oxytocin, we have prolactin. And this oxytocin runs faster to the uterus back. We need this woman alive. It comes and squeezes the uterus, right? So that the other placenta is pops out. It comes to the outlet there. And then as the uterus contracts, remember where the placenta comes, there are so many open holes, blood vessels, that can easily push blood out. And when she loses blood, we can lose her. So why make the baby? Just to test the need. May I call it testing, but of course it is breastfeeding for those impulses to move fast. So that they squeeze the uterus, placenta is popping out. So after having dried our baby with the other wet cloth, we bring another warm one and we cover the mother and the baby, and we turn the head here. So as the baby is testing the nipple here, we can tie the cord quickly. The baby is comfortable with the mother on the chest. And after tying the cord quickly, you go and manage, we call it 3rd stage, delivering the placenta. And remember, if you have done it appropriately, she will bleed less. Even after you've discharged her, this is the kind of woman who may bleed for 4 to 5 days, period. And we don't want her to lose any single blood. Yeah. Why? Because the more she loses blood, of course, she becomes anemic. During pregnancy, the baby was taking a lot of her nutrients, and in that regard, that's why we say support them adequately to have adequate nutrition. Why? Poor nutrition, poor outcome. We have so many babies out there with abnormalities. A huge head, cross eyes, the legs are funny. So the spine is stiff, sometimes a big hole in the back, a newborn, but has a hole in the back. We call it spinal bifida in the other language. Those are not really comfortable for the mother. Yeah. The mouth, all those abnormalities on a newborn. One of the contributing factors, much as people think it is family planning, the poor feeding, the nutrients were not enough to make this baby. And that's why we say, the moment you suspect you are pregnant, go for iron and folic acid. Our midwives out there, tell the woman why she's taking those drugs. It is to prevent these abnormalities, because we are not sure whether what she's eating is adequate. So we bring in iron, folic acid to prevent, more especially folic acid is to prevent these abnormalities. Then iron increases the blood, because the fetus needs a lot of blood, the mother needs a lot of blood, the two. Therefore, whether you are eating liver or what, we don't know how much is absorbed. We add in the iron and the folic acid. Okay. Periods are specified by the health workers. At this time you take this, at this time you take this. That one nitty-gritty.
So that is the importance of a mother visiting antenatal.
Exactly. As early as you suspect.
Yes, you're
ideally, pregnant. In Uganda, we should say this, there are very few people who plan for pregnancies. Mostly when you are interacting with women, I can accident from where? If we are to plan pregnancies, you start now considering, I can take some folic acid before even I conceive, right? I prepare my uterus to be fertile, to get a baby so that the baby lands in a fertile uterus, right? So if you are preparing, you start early. When the moment you conceive, take it, okay? So that will prevent all those abnormalities that may happen to our baby. Okay, so our baby is placed here.
Yes.
Now the midwife goes, the health worker, it could be the doctor, whoever is there, ties the cord, our baby is placed here. If the cord was short and you can't initiate before you you deliver the placenta, tie the cord, separate the two, put the baby here. Manage other stages that we know, 3rd and whatever, when the baby is where. And for us to achieve its best benefits, leave the baby in skin to skin for 1 full hour. I should remind you, why do we put the baby here again? To easily start breastfeeding, but secondly, at that moment in time, the mother's heartbeat is very strong if you have ever visited that place. When we put the baby here, it stimulates the heartbeat of the baby and it normalizes the breathing. 2, our skin, mine and yours, we have the normal flora that keeps it healthy. So when we put a naked baby here, we call it colonization. This normal flora of the mother comes to colonize the baby, and we shall reassure this woman. This is the, locally they call it their chogero, Uganda, chogero. Basoma chiri wano. Put the baby here for 1 full hour. That baby will be protected against those other, and we shall have a nice skin for this baby, right? Okay?
Just in case it is not fit for the mother at a time. Can it be done to the father as well, so that the baby
Very
can...
well. That's why we say escort your woman to the maternity. When you escort this mother to maternity, you can do that for us. Yeah, you are the parents. And that time, why we leave the baby here for 1 hour, that is the hour the baby identifies who is the mother and who is the neighbor. Those babies, you can't pick them anyhow and breastfeed another woman. It's rare. Okay? Yes, so now that is, this is why women keep reporting, my baby refused breastfeeding at 2 months, and so on. When you went home, many apply strong perfumes. Now back to my figure, I'm a girl. And so the moment you apply those smelling, that smell different from the other woman from labor, babies refuse. And such babies, when
they are already sensing that this is not the person.
The scent of my mother. So if you express into the cup, the baby will take nicely. Should you bring the baby close and the baby refuses, check yourself. The hygiene, the perfumes you could have changed, and so on. That alone makes a baby to stop breastfeeding, because that is scent. And the love, the really love of the baby starts from there. Love. You know these babies, you dare hit a baby, that child will hate you.
Exactly.
But even if the mother hits how? She will keep running to the mother. Love yatandikirawa, the other side. So we have to train these children to grow up loving men and women from how we care here and the continuous breastfeeding. Do you see those babies? When they are breastfeeding, they keep caressing their mothers, touching
their eyes.
They're expressing their love. Atayagala. Those who are not loved will never love. So we should support our Uganda by training Ugandans who are loving. There are some people, however much you express your love, they cannot appreciate it. Why? They miss their natural love from the other side. So basically, we should train our population. We should train populations that we should start showing these babies love, children love, so that they learn to love.
Well, we can not exhaust everything today. We have to go. We are already past time. But thank you so much for watching. We are delighted that you started with us and you're still with us. This is Health Pot, brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Family TV, basically looking at early childhood development and maternal health. Edwin Austin Mukalazi is my name. I've been with she's a public health expert, Nabirye Zabina, and I've worked with Tony Santo on the camera, Jonah Jal, the producer, Bantam in transmission. Good night. God bless you. Enjoy your weekend.